Microsoft Azure Search as a Service. And one of the things that I hope to show is with Azure Search, it can help to make an easy, powerful, sophisticated search to your website or your application without a whole lot of upfront costs. If anybody's ever put together a out-of-the-box or a homegrown search application or search for a website, search for anything, you know that it can get pretty involved. And what Microsoft is introducing now is Azure Search as a Service, where you feed it data and you can have the search kind of out of a box. So one of the things that I'll go through today is Microsoft Azure Search as a Service and how it works and what it really is, and then finally show you a couple demonstrations of how it can work. One of the things that I want to start off with is that this is still in preview mode for Azure. So what it means is it's free for everybody now, and it's not fully supported for production environment. So that if you did use this in a production environment and something went wrong with it, it's not guaranteed to work. But as soon as it does become generally accepted, then that's when the full-on 100% support starts for it. So this is something that is new and leading edge, and hopefully we can get through it and show you what value it adds. Before we get into Search as a Service, I just wanted to tell you a little bit about Kallan. We're a company that's founded in 1985. We have about 120 technical consultants. We have a wide range of experience, expertise. We do a lot of custom application development, architecture, user experience design, project management. We're one of about 30 national system providers from Microsoft. We're a gold partner in 5 different categories, actually, and now a silver partner in cloud deployment and the Office 365 suite. We have a presence across the United States. We're headquartered in Hartford, just out of Hartford, Connecticut. We also have offices in Boston, Santa Ana, California, Tampa, Florida, New York City, and Washington, D.C. The way that our company is aligned is we are very much practice-focused. We have myself, who leads up the cloud practice. We also have a portals and collaborations practice that they do mostly SharePoint work. Application integration is a lot of BizTalk work. Business intelligence is SQL Server, Microsoft HD Insight. They do a lot of work on the Azure stack with Hadoop, and then finally the mobile applications doing Windows 8, Windows Phone. We also do Android and iPhone. The one practice that isn't here that spans across all of these is our user experience practice, and they're a support organization that will support all of these different practices. So let's get going with Search as a Service. And everybody keeps asking me, what is Search as a Service? And Search as a Service is a fully managed cloud-based service. It allows a developer to build a search experience with a lot of the nuts and bolts of it that is in every search experience, that is things like refiners and filters and stuff like that. Those are something that no matter what you do with a search, it always has to be done. With Search as a Service, a lot of that stuff is done for you. Search as a Service for Azure is based on Elasticsearch, and I'm not sure if anybody's familiar with that, but that's what it's based on. So it isn't something that is just flat out of the box from Microsoft. It's built on top of Elasticsearch. It's an open source project. One of the things that it is very good at is it's very elastic, just like anything in the cloud, is you can scale your capacity based on needs. There's sometimes we're coming into a holiday season for retailers, and one of our clients, for their website, around now it just starts to get absolutely demolished with search, and they're searching for all kinds of products. So if it did have the Azure Search as a Service in there, we would easily be able to scale that search experience so that the search would kind of work independently of the site itself. The site going through and browsing products and buying products, and that pretty much holds its own. but the search capability is something that always seems to fall short, and it's the out-of-the-box search capability for the e-commerce product that we introduced for them. And so we've been looking now to replace the out-of-the-box with Search as a Service so that we can make that search experience more elastic for their website. And who's it for? It's what I'm going through today is it's for the developers and the system integrators. Is you're gonna get down and dirty and see how the thing works, see what it does, what it doesn't do, and then you'll be able to display this to just about anybody, and anybody that's using it, it will integrate seamlessly with your application, with your web application, with your mobile application. And it's something that if anybody's ever built these by themselves or tried to build them or paid somebody to build one, a search application can get very costly. What Search as a Service does is it shelters a lot of that for you. So you just feed it in data, and then it'll give it back to you. And a lot of the filtering, faceted search, all that stuff is handled for you because it's the same no matter what kind of search experience you're using. And another thing that everybody always asks is why build your own search solution? Is there's times on, I'll keep bringing up e-commerce sites or a company portal or intranet that everybody always wants to, or I know myself, I always want to just go to a box, type in the name of the person that I'm looking for or whatever. Even if I know how to navigate to it, it's much easier to type in somebody's name, have a link pop up, and then you can get to their profile. Or same thing with, you go to a site and you know kind of what you're looking for, and you just type that in. And with the way that Search as a Service works, you feed it the data that you want people to search on, and it works that way. So that's some of the things of what Search as a Service is. So the next part is, how does it really work? And it's, as I said, it's based off of Elasticsearch. It works by you creating schemas and documents in a local development environment, and then you upload it with a REST API. And some of the stuff that you can search on is field depending on how you create your documents that are going to be searched on. You can have things such as product name, description, comments, brands, prices, just about anything that you would like to put in there to search on. And then you also load up non-searchable fields, and these would be filters, how you wanted things scored. Since you're feeding it data, and this works independently of your application, and you wanted to show, like say if you had this for an e-commerce site and you wanted to show images of bicycles that you are searching for, you can add in URLs and content of stuff that's not stored in search, so that when you do return the search results, you're able to display a rich search results page to a person. Not just the demo that I'm showing you is going to be a whole bunch of words, but if I was to add in different URLs to images that are on the site, to anything at all that you can display on the web, you can send that all in as non-searchable data. And then it's based on a document DB, so it's used to build the search results page. The next part of how does it really work is, what you want to do is first is create your index, and your index is just once the schemas and the documents are ready, you can use the search API that I'll go through to show you and create the index. The indexer in Azure Search uses a JSON schema to create the structure and the rules. And then you upload the documents conform to that schema, and that's your raw material used to create the inverted index. So you can upload, say, 10,000 documents for a music catalog or some sort of catalog that you have, and say 100 of them you wanted to term with one term. The indexer will create a tokenized reference to that term and list all 100 documents. The REST API, it contains commands for the index and document management, as well as being able to score profiles, and it gives you programmatic control over that, and some type ahead or kind of autocomplete suggestions that you may be typing on. I know when people log into Google or Bing and you start typing things out, it always freaks me out of how it already knows what I want to search for. So some of the things that you can do with the REST API is you can have type ahead suggestions, faceted navigation, lets you choose categories, brands, genre, price filters, and also the search results page behaviors of how things should show up on there and page counts and stuff like that. So some of the features and restrictions on search as a service is there is the capacity and scale. There's shared or standard, and shared is something that you will usually use if you're doing a proof of concept. You're doing something that isn't really production ready because it's shared across multiple search facets, and then there's standard where that's dedicated to you. And as you'll see in the pricing, shared is free, and then the standard actually costs you money. One of the other things is it only works over HTTPS. You can't have it work over HTTP. And the REST API consists of get, post, of HTTP post, put, get, and delete requests, and that's all within JSON format. And the authentication for your host application, that's for search, is done with a admin API key in the HTTP header. So there's no per user authorization or authentication. The one other thing that everybody always asks is I keep talking about you feed data into the search for it to return results to you. One of the things that Search as a Service does not do right now, you can't give it a target and have it crawl it like a lot of other search engines work. It's something that's on the feature list that's coming, but as of right now in preview, that's not available. Some of the other features and restrictions is there is the indexing and the documents that are in there. There's multiple indexes that can be searched one at a time. There's some limits on storage. The querying is used with OData syntax. So that's one of the restrictions, or I guess features that is within the Search as a Service. Some of the other things that are in there that are really cool is the full text search. There's also scoring, faceted navigation, suggestion counts, highlighted hits. That's something that if you're going to build on your own, everybody does it, and if you're going to build it on your own, you know how to do it, but out of the box, the Search as a Service has it done for you already. It saves you a lot of time and money. And you can also do reporting and analysis on your search service, and that's all done through the Azure portal. Now, the first thing that I'm going to go through now is take you through a basic demo of Azure Search. And one of the things to get started with it is going through to the Azure management portal. And if anybody is familiar with the management portal, this is the old management portal, and then we can come into, I'm going to switch to for Azure Search as a Service, it's only available in the new Azure portal, so we need to sign into the new portal. So if you're in the old portal, you can just click on your login name and switch to the new portal, and it'll bring you to the new and improved Azure portal. This portal is still not, I don't want to say fully functional. It doesn't have all of the features that the old portal does, but a lot of the newer stuff that they're releasing in preview, such as Search as a Service, is only located in the new portal. So to begin, the first thing that we want to do is just start with a free search service. So I can go to Browse, and over in the menu here, we want to choose Search Services. And this right now is showing the search services that we have available, and I have a Kallan demo that we're using today. And as I said today, it's the free pricing tier. It's a shared search. So in order for us to start out to build a new one, we want to say New, and come down to Search as a Service solution. First thing that we need to do is type in a URL for the search service. This URL has to be unique across all of Azure because this is the way that it's addressed over the internet. So as you start to type in the URL, you'll see that there's an exclamation point or a checkbox. The checkbox means that it's good to go. The exclamation point means that it's used by somebody else. So we're going to go through and do a free and click Create. So this is basically how you'll go through and set up the initial search service inside of the portal. And to save time for what we're doing, I'm just going to go back to my other search application that I already have. So this is a search application that I've already created for the demo, and it's the Kallan demo search service, and it has storage that's associated with it. It has some of the tags that you can associate with it. There's different properties, there's keys, and then right down in here, this shows the indexes of what we have that are going to search. And in the two demos that I have for you today, there's one that is a very basic search that will show as the catalog of bike parts, which is the catalog, has 294 documents and a storage size of 195 kilobytes. This shows a lot of information about a catalog that would be in a bike store. Then there's another demo that I'm going to go through that will show you how Azure Search as a Service is going to load data into an index, which is in the stores index. Then from there, it's going to take that, go out to Bing and get some geospatial data, and then combine the two so that when you do searches, you can do searches that are laid out on top of a map. So those are the two things that I'm going to demonstrate to you today. So now if you see here, I have an instance of Visual Studio opened up. All of the applications that I have here are Visual Studio web applications. That the first one is just an MVC application that will show some basic search functionality. And then the second one will be the Geospatial Search. So if you were to go out to the Azure Search as a Service page, you'll see that there's the AdventureWorks web demo, and I've just used the download demo that they have. And in here, there's a web project. There is also the catalog indexer project, which will take the AdventureWorks catalog database and go through and build all of the documents and the indexes for this search. And this is something, as you can see, that was done with very, very little code. I think there's about 2 or 3 different classes that do this, and it will go and load up your index for you. So right now I have the index already loaded here. If it wasn't here, we can go through, set this project as the startup project. And this doesn't have to, these don't have to be in the same solution. They could be in 2 separate solutions, but I'm going to run this now, and it's going to go through and take this database and rebuild the index for me. And it's nothing more than a little console application that will go through. It created the index. Now I'm going to go back to my solution and set my web project as the startup for this application, and we're going to run this. And then this is nothing more than an MVC application that just has a search box on it, and it can start to provide you all of all the results for your search. So I have my search box. And as you can see here, there's the autocomplete suggestions that are coming up. When I click search, it'll go out and it searches the index, and these are all of the different things that I put into the index to return back. So there is the LL mountain front wheel. There's a price of $60.74. The color of it is black. There's no weight. There's no size. So out of the box, with just pumping all of this data into the index, I was able to send in the data, do a query on it. It comes back, and like I said, out of the box, all of this stuff, it just works. As you don't have to go through and do certain things. I told it that I wanted color categories and prices as filters, and so it gives all of those as filters. You can click on these. It'll filter them out the way that you want them. And all of this, there's no extra code to do all of this. Since this is a filter that works the same way for just about every page, all of this stuff is done for you. So there's no custom code for filters. There's no custom code for sorting. All of it is done out of the box for you. I'm going to close this one down now and open up the Geospatial Search to show you how it can take some of the search results that you put into it and then overlay it with some Bing results to get geospatial data and then display it all for you. So this project is set up much the same, that there's a web application and there's also the indexer application that's in here. So I'm going to go through and set this as my startup project to make sure that my index is built correctly. Start that. And now this one takes a little bit more because it will go through and it creates the index, and as I said, it'll go out and do the match up with Bing for the geospatial data, combine it together, and then that's how the index is built. Go back to my project and set the web project as a startup project. And this one I didn't build any actual search functionality in there, but it will go through, and I put some different pinpoints on of where store locations were. So as we go through and hit the new application, it will go through and lay the results that I had on top of the Google Bing Maps. And this is something that's pretty much out of the box that you can do. I'm not sure if anybody's ever done this before, but we have one client that they monitor oil and gas wells across the United States, and they did a similar thing like this where all of the devices that are pumping back oil and gas data across the United States is laid on top of a geospatial search like this. So this one right here would just show, this is showing different stores in different cities. What the real application that Fielding Systems has, if you were to look at their application, you would see all of these pinpoints for all of the oil and gas wells that are being monitored across the United States. And they just have some neat things on there as you start to enhance it. As you hover over, you can do different things to see what the oil and gas wells are doing at that point in time. That brings up the end of the demos that I had for us today. So I just wanted to, before we get into any questions I had, so there's a lot of people saying, oh, that this whole search as a service thing is pretty neat, and I'd like to try it out. There's some things of how we can help at Kallan. If you want to go through and try this out yourself, you can go through with the link that I have on the screen here, and it'll give you a free 1-month subscription to Azure, and it's either 1 month or I think $150 depending on what comes up first. This will give you a preview to Azure, much more than Azure Search. It'll let you do anything inside of Azure, as I said, for 1 month, and or up to $150. One of the other things that we're offering is Azure Quick Starts, and a lot of these are either 1 day, 3 day, 5 day, up to 3-month engagements of here's Azure and here's what it does, all the way to here's an application that I have that I'm thinking about moving to the cloud, and we can assist with those. And then we have a lot of customized engagements where people just aren't quite sure what the cloud is yet, or what runs well in the cloud, or more importantly, what does not run well in the cloud. So we set up a lot of customized engagements to do some envisioning, to figure out what you have in your environment and how we could move that to the cloud, or if it even makes sense to move it to the cloud. So that about wraps up my presentation today.